This is a video of our yard, and our backyard. And this is the tulips and irises that Penny and I planted around my tree last year. They are blooming and I am so happy. And this, sadly, is my little hydrangea that Heidi sent me. It did not make it. So I'm hoping to get another one from her. These are the crepe myrtles that Ruby sent home. They are starting to leaf out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm hoping eventually that this will make one big, beautiful line of color through here. These are my amaryllis that Jasmine gave me, and they are way too thick, but I did not get around to thinning them this year, so they probably won't bloom again this year, but when they do, they are waist high. I have never seen them so tall. This is my evergreen that Ruby sent home to me a couple years ago. And this is monkey grass. This yard washes really, really bad. And so we planted monkey grass along the fence, hoping it would help. And then I planted some wisteria because I want to put wisteria on both sides of this glider and let it cover over and make a canopy. Meanwhile, some of my irises washed down where the fence is supposed to open. So, and I had 300 plus irises. I don't know if you can see this whole line that I planted down here in the back part of the yard. But they're coming up also back here. And my compost pile over there. And this is our yucky part of our yard we have to clean up. I'm going to get rid of that camper shell. Use those barrels for more planters. Eventually hang the awning. And this over here is my workshop garden. I planted these Sweet Williams here over the winter just so they wouldn't die. I probably won't leave them here. I'm going to fill this up with different kinds of flowers. More irises. And a red Seven Sisters rose bush that kept getting diseased in the front yard. So we put it here. And this is a windmill that I got from Ruby that Walter had. And I love it very much. Tim's working on the windmill part. But until then, we're calling it an oil derrick. And I was extremely happy that the hosta came back this year. Look how good it's doing. I'm so happy about that. And behind that is the clematis. It's going to crawl all the way up. You can see. And Lariopie needs trimmed so it can grow. I'm going to run back over to this side of the yard. Here's my glider that Tim is going to refinish for me. I got it on Craigslist for $25. And we're going to build a pergola over it so the wisteria can crawl all over it. Tim was like, "Are you sure you want wisteria?" And I said, "Yes, I do." This is a pink rose that was Tim's grandmother's rose when he was a little boy of about 11, that was passed down to Ruby, and Ruby gave us a start and it died. So the last time we were down there, we got a couple of more starts off of it. And that one's pink, and that one is also from her pink roses. This one I found at Lowe's for $5. It's a yellow rose. Over there we have lemongrass that will come back. I had an experiment of trying to see if some tropical hibiscus would make it through the winter outside, and as you see, it did not. And then we have some clumps of lariopie that I am going to plant somewhere else. Those will stay there. That's where I want them. But the other ones will go somewhere else. And here's the rest of the irises that I planted around the tree. Then I will come up this way. Here's the porch again. And I'm going to turn around. This is what we call the junk garden, or the everything garden, because it truly has everything in it. Nothing would ever grow here. So we just started throwing things in there that we didn't really care if it lived or died, except for one very important flower, which has always grown very well here before the cats chewed on it this year and laid on it. And it is our Easter lily that Isaac and Rebecca got for us for our anniversary many years ago. And it needs to be separated, but it's very, very beautiful, and it gets really tall with pretty blooms. And there are some more irises coming up because I had to stick them all over the yard. There were so many of them. And this monkey grass that Debbie McCullough gave us from a job that has multiplied all over the whole yard. And violets that Colleen Brown gave us. She said, "You don't want violets, they'll take over." And I said, "Yes, we want violets to take over this spot in our yard." Vinca that we wanted in our everything garden. Peonies that I moved because I'll show you in a minute. We put our azalea where this used to sit. And these are my daddy's blackberries that he gave me from Texas. He gave me 5 little bitty plants, and they have taken off. We have thinned them out. These probably are not even original plants anymore because they have reproduced and gotten so old and gotten pruned so many times that the roots are original, but the actual plants on top probably are no longer the originals. But they produce like crazy and have great big, beautiful, delicious blackberries as big as your thumb on them. These are my blueberries. For the first time I'm trying to grow blueberries. The guy said they probably will not produce this year, but we are seeing these little things. I don't know if those are blueberry buds or not, because I have never done this, but we will see what happens. I'm excited to even have the plants, and they stayed through the winter, so we'll see what happens there. That is our leaf pile where Tim dumps, and grass pile where he dumps after the mowing of the lawn. And this is my daddy's tree. He gave me just a piece of root about a foot long that he chopped off of a tree he has at his house. And it has grown to be this huge thing, very tall, and it puts off really yummy smelling white flowers just for a very short time in the spring. I don't know what it's called, but I love it. And our fire pit that we keep upside down because it gets rusty. Debbie McCullough said this was a dwarf crepe myrtle, and it ended up not being a dwarf, but it's very beautiful with bright dark pink flowers on it in the summer. And these are nandinas. We need to trim them really bad. Tim made me this little walkway. We did have these two things and had bird feeders that looked like little lamps on them. And I was going to have a little sitting bench. I did have a sitting bench where the fire pit is, but Uh, we decided to move it elsewhere because it's just too busy right in here when we're working in the workshop and everything. But here, look at my azalea bush. It's kind of scarce right now, but it was Ruby and Walter's and it is blooming. Gonna bloom. Here's some more of those sweet Williams that I wanted to keep alive. I don't know if I'll put them back in a hanging pot or where I'll put them. I don't know. I might leave them in this garden but distribute them differently. But this is where that peony was that was over there that I showed you in the everything garden. And you can see how the water just washes in waves down our yard. We're trying to do something about that. I don't know what we'll do. And here is another peony right here. We cut that one in about 4 pieces. And this is part of it. And that's part of it. I took part of it to Ruby's. And part of it is in that planter over there. And this is in my workshop. And I am going to take these hydrangeas, which I don't even know if they're alive, but I'm going to sit them outside. My Japanese maples did make it through the winter, so I'm very happy about that. And I'm going to put them in the greenhouse. And I'm going to set these outside to see if they will live. I'm not sure if they will, but this is my workshop where I am eventually going to do my stained glass. And my uncle made that and gave it to me, and I have storage. It's just all messed up right now. I've got all my gardening stuff up there and my storage things up there, and yeah, so that's the front yard. I'll let Tim do the front yard sometime, but that's our yard. Oh, there's our neighbor, baby Eugene and Mr. Kenny. So y'all have a good time. Bye.